So, in the world of Game of Thrones, the setting is primarily Westeros, which is that land to the far west over there. Um, Sometimes it's in Essos, which is the big landmass in the middle you see there, but usually it's in Westeros. However, there are two other continents that is barely mentioned in the show or in the books, and you have to really do a deep dive to find anything about them. But those are the two continents that we're talking about today, Sothoryos and Ulthos. So, let's get started. And we're going to get started with Sothoryos because we know more about it than Ulthos. So, that's Sothoryos down there in the very bottom. It looks small. I assure you it is not. Um, so, yeah, it's the continent south of Essos, which is why it's called Sothoryos. It's covered in jungles, it's plague ridden, and it's largely unexplored. The northern coast has been mapped with four ruined cities, Zemator, Yin, Gagosis, and Gorosh. By the way, I'm going to mispronounce some things, so I apologize for that. But those are the four ruined cities, but little is known about them. The Giscari Empire believed the continent was just as large as Westeros, which means it's not as big. It's not like Essos size or anything. However, that is definitely incorrect. No ship has been able to find the bottom of the continent. The Valyrian Genera Baleares flew her dragon Terex to explore Sothoryos by air. She went farther south than anyone had ever been. But after traveling for 3 years, she found no end in sight. It was just jungles, deserts, and mountains. She said it's at least as large as Essos and possibly didn't even have an end, stating that it was a land with no end. Um, uh, there are people there. The Sothari people are known as brindled men. They're described as being big boned and massively muscled with thick skin, brindled in patterns of brown and white, and they have long arms, sloped foreheads, huge square teeth, heavy jaws, short in height, and coarse black hair. So I'm assuming they're more ape-looking than people. Um, Women were even said to be unable to breed with men from anywhere else, like people from Essos or Westeros or anything like that. The Sothory people on the northern coast are usually not hostile towards visitors and have even traded with them, but the farther south you go, the more savage they are, as they are known for cannibalism and worshipping dark gods. There's also unproven reports of other people that were driven out or killed by the Sothory people, like the lizardmen and the eyeless cave dwellers. Outside of these guys, there are also other dangers of the jungle, like plagues and diseases, but as well as wildlife like basilisks. Basilisks are reptiles with 6 legs that are venomous and twice the size of lions. So incredibly dangerous. Rivers and streams are home to massive crocodiles and swarms of ravenous carnivorous fish, kind of like piranhas. There's stinging flies, venomous snakes, and worms and wasps that lay their eggs underneath the skin. There are hostile apes, and it's even said that these apes south of Yin dwarf the largest giants in the northern parts of Westeros and can one-shot elephants. Elephants. Um, Farther south, in a place called the Green Hell, which is a really fitting name since it's just a even more dense jungle, there are white vampire bats that can suck all the blood out of a man in mere seconds. We don't know how large they are, but I mean, I'm assuming they have to be pretty big to be able to do that. There's also the walking lizards, or the tattooed lizards, that look a lot like velociraptors or some sort of raptor. There's also 50-foot snakes, spotted spiders, and aggressive wyverns, which are just like dragons but smaller and can't breathe fire. There has been several attempts to colonize this continent by the Giscari Empire, Valyrian Freehold, and even by the Rhoynar, but all have failed for one reason or another, whether it was the brindled men, plague, or just the wildlife. The ancient city of Yin is an enigma, and it's older than time, quote unquote. Though it was abandoned thousands of years ago, the surrounding jungles have barely touched it, which tells me there's got to be some sort of magic involved. And every attempt to resettle there has ended in absolute horror and disaster. And then there's the fourth continent, Ulthos, all the way down in the southeast of the known world map. It's a landmass just south of Ashai in the Shadow. It's separated from the Shadowlands by the Saffron Straits, and the island of Ulos is located in the straits. Just like much of the eastern map of this world, not much is known about Ulthos other than it's covered in dense, dark jungle. The island of Ulos is a mountainous isle, and an unnamed ruined city lies in the northern part of the island. And that's all we know about this continent. That's it. Apparently, it's rumored that the people of Ashai know more about this land, but we don't actually know that. And according to George R.R. Martin, Ulthos highlights that people from Westeros, in particular the Grand Maesters, just don't know much about the world east of Karth. It's believed the wildlife in Ulthos is similar to that of Sothoryos or worse. Like I heard things about human-sized bats, human-sized lizards, along with the crocodiles, snakes, basilisks, all of that. So like it is not like yeah, but all those are just beliefs, not like facts. And that's all we really know about those two continents. I would love for George R. R. Martin to like expand on it so we can know more about Sothoryos and Ulthos, but we'll probably never get that because he's been working on his last book for the last decade plus. So probably never, but maybe one day. Anyways, like and subscribe if you did enjoy. Leave a comment of what you thought and hit the notification bell to be notified of all my future videos and all the great stuff. I truly do appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.